Ham infrá þig. Höfðing í storms og knots. Trolldóms, fróðskaps, sorgs og slögð. Herra hókar hinn góði. Alfáður góður hans jáfri í askrin. Níu nættir gærsótt í sett. Því blót að ósum mennskúlu vera gjóð óðins skal vera.
Hi guys, so if you are new, thanks a lot for the new subscribers. I greatly appreciate it. And if you are just watching, please like, comment, and subscribe. So since today's my birthday, I thought I'm just gonna do what I want today. So, I'm 48 years old, I'm single, my kids are grown adults. It's my birthday, I'm going to do whatever I want. So after I clean up this lovely little mess I've made back here, which is only examples for videos, that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to work on spell stuff, I'm going to craft, and I'm going to shoot videos today. So I figure I'm just going to do VRs. So here we go. But in any event, Fairy Fortune had asked me to do videos on how I would witch on a budget. Basically witching from thrift stores and Dollar Trees. And some of these things do apply if you're in the broom closet. So I figured I would also make this a VR to the Lady Gravedancer. So I have all my examples back here as well as my notes. So I'm probably going to be a rambling mess. But it is what it is. So let's start with divination. Now, everyone has done videos on these black rocks right here. The other reason why I have my lights on, so my blind butt can see what I'm doing. Now, you get these at the Dollar Tree, and everyone's done videos on how you can make these into runes. Well, they are a bit heavy, but other things that you can do is you can take 4 out of your pack. You can take the paint pens. Unfortunately, though, you can get them at Dollar General, and paint your elements, and then you have 4 things for your altar. If you need for circle casting or representing the elements for your altar, you can also put your oils, instead of just dripping an oil around your candle, you can put drops of oil on your candles, as well as drops of your particular oil to stick inside of a poppet, or a healing for a poppet. Now, a lot of people, and I've seen a few people have done these, but this is the way I like to do it because these are a lot thinner and these are easier for me. Of course, these are runes that I've made for Lady Adara, so she already knows that. Of course, I have to paint the inside, but these are what I do with runes. I mean, with the shells. Of course, you have to get the flat ones. Now, some dollar stores do sell these, as well as Goodwill, because I'm going to go dollar store and then Goodwill. If you have jewelry wires, some string, or in my case, fishing line, it's easier for me. These are going to make pendulums. Of course, I'm going to paint this one. So I'm going to, as I'm doing these crafting later, I'm probably going to do an update and to show you guys what the stuff looks like. Yeah, cut my finger. Didn't mean to do that. Cut my finger today. So, now, Claromancy is another thing that you can do. Now, the Dollar Trees do sell these little blocks and little packs. But, I don't have the pack because I had to use it for something else. But if you take 13 of 2 colors, traditionally it's black and white, 13 white, 13 black. This is a means of divination for yes or no questions. And of course, I went to go get more of these little ones, and I ended up coming across these. So these would work just as well. Now, I don't have the frame on me, but these the frames over there because this is one of the little projects I have today. These can be, if you paint, you can get paint at Walmart. I recommend Walmart because Walmart is cheaper. They have the vials of tulip paint that you can get at the craft store or the craft section in like 50 cents. So I'm going to be painting this and then taking the opposite side, and because I've tried it with regular mirrors and it has not worked. So this is going to be my little project today to make a scrying mirror. And of course I already have a stand for that. So there's another form of divination. And you can also take different shells like these and paint them black or white too if you would want to. Let's see, what else did I have for divination? I believe that, oh yeah, Trish from the Dismal Swamp had given me this idea. Whoops. You can take these. Now, I could only find ones that stood up. So, I'm going to set that down. And I'm going to get this out because this is another thing that you can use. Chalk for circle casting if you consecrate it. Or you can, if you make eggshell chalk, you can always add this for colors that you need. But Trish had given me this idea. Now, you could take your chalk, of course, and you can do this. Now, of course, with this kind of chalk, you have to press a bit hard. And this is just like an example of what I'm doing. It's probably not the neatest in the world, but so there you go. Now, you can instant pendulum board and you can erase it, which is another thing. If you need a pendulum board and you're basically in the broom closet, there you go. Now all you have to do is if you get the chalk like this, it sets flat. There you go. There's Pendulum and Trish from the Dismal Swamp. You should check her out. She gave me that idea. But another thing, see, you can do the same with the dry erase boards, but I thought I had one here, but apparently I don't. These, of course, the stand-up ones, you can always put a picture of your deity or a tarot card or something like that. They do have the sleeves. Some places do sell the sleeves. You can just glue the sleeve on and just stick your card in it. Or a picture of your deity that you can glue and just turn it around like that. Of course, nobody's going to be the wiser. But another thing that these are good for is if you're doing sigil magic and you're writing your sigil to charge a spell, these are another good thing, especially the stand-up ones. These would be a good thing to use. I have a pendulum board that I made, and one of the other things that I do is as the letters come through, I will write the letters on the boards here and then do it that way. But another thing that these would be good for is if you went to Walmart and you got the paint, or you could use Dollar Tree paint or just the chalk, however you want to do it. You can draw doors or glue a rock. These can be used for your fairy garden as fairy doors when you paint them, or as some people refer to them as spirit doors. So that was another thing for divination. Of course, you can use these, as I said, for chalk for circle casting. Oh, yes. Charcoal. You can get charcoal. Charcoal would be good to crush up. And instead of using your charcoal discs, you could use the charcoal, although I would keep it away from a heat source. It's not to be used with candles or anything like that. Just a little disclaimer. But charcoal can be used to grind up if you're in need of witch's salt. And it's going to go a lot farther. And you don't have to constantly go back out and make more, use up your charcoal discs. You see, I use a witch's salt or black salt in a lot of my spells, so I need a lot of that. If you're making your oils, the dollar stores do have although they're small, carrier oils that you can use for oils in your practice. And another thing is the flour. You can get flour there. You can also get it at the grocery store, but that is a good base for if you are making powders. So so that would be another thing. Now, I have these because I forgot to grab. These would also, if you can take a Sharpie, you can make yourself a picture on one side, and on the other, take a Sharpie, if you can wood burn, like what I did with this one, and just, you know, make a picture on one side so it hangs up, and then on the reverse you can have your sigil, your yes or no, and it's just kind of like what I'm talking about. You know, you can have, of course this is, you know, but, you know, make a picture and then you can put whatever you need to put on the reverse so it faces in and nobody knows what the heck you're doing. Now I had another one that I did. This one I'm going to redo because I didn't like how the paint thing basically exploded on me. But you can get these at like Dollar General. They're memorials for your pets, and unfortunately now they don't make them as big as this one. But I made this and was making this into a pendulum board for my runes, and of course the paint thing exploded on me, so I'm going to have to redo it. But then, you know, when you're not, you could just paint the whole thing, or if you're a better painter than me, paint the one side, and then of course it stays flat. People are going to think, oh, it's a pet thing, or heck, just set a plant on it. Nobody knows what the heck you're doing. Okay, so now we're going to get on to this. These little things, and this goes back to seashells, and I have a big old thing of them over here. You need to go and Google the magical purposes of seashells, because you can take these little seashells and either have them as an offering to your deity or grind them up with some of the bigger ones and add them to powders. As I said, you know, Google that or read about it. Do your own research. But these could also be used to store herbs or for your spell jars. So that was the other thing I forgot to bring up. Now, some dollar stores do sell the Five Below, and I believe it's Dollar Tree. They do sell the diffusers. Now, the diffusers, of course, they also sell essential oils, but the diffusers would be good if you need, instead of burning incense, which they have. But instead of burning incense, if you're in a situation where you live in an apartment where you can't burn incense or candles, then that would be another good use. Plus, no one, that way you don't break a rule. Birthday candles and crayons. Now, we all know that the dollar store, Dollar Tree and all that, now, seasonally, they do have the black ones, but these are like the typical candles that you can get at Dollar Tree. Now, here recently, they've started selling them with these wax-looking wicks. So, but I learned how to do candle making in blind camp, but I had a mold, and of course, the mold would be like this, and you would pour it, you would turn it upside down and pour it. So, but I didn't think that you could reheat these without breaking the glass, but thanks to Santista Brujo Luis, I saw that you could do it. Now, one thing that you can do is you can take the white, for example, because you can't always get black. Because when Halloween comes, all the witches are going to get all the black candles. Now, you can use birthday candles as well as crayons, because we all know you can use birthday candles in spell work. But these you can use to basically melt your candle down. And this is not Lady Adara perfect or Lady Grave Dancer perfect, but you can. And of course, it's still a bit wet, so I'm waiting on it to dry down. But you can use these to color your candles. They're not pretty, but they work. You can also take, they do sell Meltums, and you can also use those to color too, because it's basically wax. So you can do that. Now, reversible candles, if I can grab it, I should have already grabbed it, but if you're on a budget, now these at the medical physical store, I'm working on something for someone, but these normally run you about $5 to $6. Well, you can take a glue gun like this one here, and of course I've used it to kind of melt the wax. Of course, there again, it's not Lady Adara perfect or Lady Grave Dancer perfect, but for a reversible candle, and I don't know if you can tell, but so half of it is red and half of it is white, and then of course I put the glitter in it. Of course, intention is everything, but you know, again, if you need to do things on the cheap, that's another way to do it. Now, felt and scarves. Felt and scarves can be used for poppets, or also bandanas too. Let me grab one. I had one. I had it. Oh yeah, here it is. Okay, felt, scarves, and bandanas. These can be used for tarot bags, poppets, charm bags, things like that, for your practice. So, and also altar cloths, if you know you're so inclined. Now, with these kind of scarves, you'd have to double it up. Oops. You would have to double it up, basically, to make it twice as thick. If you were wanting to make this out of a tarot bag, for example, mirrors. Well, let's see. Let's get on to string. Now, here's ribbon that you can get at the dollar store. Now, I don't have it with me, but when you make a tarot bag, if you are one who can sew, you would use these to sort of cinch off your tarot bag as like a pull string. So you can use that for pull string. You can also use this for bindings, depending on the color. They are starting to sell the little embroidery thread like this that you can get at Walmart, but you know, you can use this also for binding, for your yarn dolls, sewing your poppets, you know, color coordinate with whatever your spell work is. And I am going to do a video here soon on how to make no-sew poppets, but if you can only get a certain color or you only have it available, you can use these to kind of put on there for chakras, things like that. But another thing that these are really good for is they do sell beads. You can make knots, and I would recommend you look up how to make witches' ladders. These are really good for those. Yarn. They do sell yarn, but it's in small amounts. And as I said, I'm going to show how to make no-sew poppets. They can be used for poppets. They can be used for worry dolls. And also witches' ladders. Now, mirrors. You can get mirrors at the dollar store. But like with me, they're always out. So aluminum foil is another thing that you can get for reflective magic at the dollar store. Sand. I had it. Jeez. Okay, here it is. Now, I've seen it where they do sell these in smaller bags, but the only colors that I've seen are brown, black, of course red, green, and blue. You already know about color magic. Now, you can use these as your base for your incense, especially your cone incense, but I would recommend you use the brown for that. But another thing that you can do is that everybody uses these for their chalices. Everybody talks about using these for chalices. Well, you can pour a little bit of sand in there. You can use it to basically stabilize your birthday candle, or you can also put your tea lights in here. You can get glitter. Elmer's glue, you can get at any dollar store. Now, go and get you some food coloring. and you only need a few drops. And of course, then you can get these and you can color coordinate these to whatever, just, I would recommend you rub it on, but I would recommend that you use ones that don't have any of this detailing in it. Just use the plain ones. But you can combine glue with a little bit of food coloring, rub it on, let it dry, put on another coat, and you can use these candle holders to correspond with the elements or with whatever spell you're doing. Christmas balls. Christmas balls. These you can only get seasonally along with the battery operated candles if you can't burn candles. These you can use as witches balls, and if you don't know what they are, you're probably going to have to go and Google that. But these are very good for protections, and I'm probably going to do a video on how to work with these. Plus, nobody knows. It's just yet another thing. If you're in the broom closet, nobody's going to know what the heck this is. Now, I thought that I had... I'm not getting up to get it, but I will show it when I do my update. Dollar General is starting to sell polymer clay. Polymer clay is also good for runes, for pendulum boards, and I will get it down and then I will show you. But Witchy Laura had showed me how to make talismans, evil eye talismans. She's from Louisiana. She typically hangs hers up in bushes, but mine that she made for me got broke when we moved, so I had to remake some. So I will take it down out of the window and show you what it looks like. Of course, the beads that I used were beads that I got from Dollar Tree. When you're using the polymer clay, please keep the heat on low and follow the directions. Okay, I had my notes, but heck with that. I think I covered pretty much everything that you can get and use from the Dollar Tree. Now, we're going to move on to... I had said yarn. Now we're going to move on to the Goodwill. Of course, they are starting to sell jewelry wire. Some do sell this type of jewelry wire, which you can also use for pendulums and stuff like that. Now, you can pretty much get these year-round at the Goodwill, and I've already talked about what, some uses for these. You can also use it not just for protection, but to bring things in. Of course, nobody knows. Boxes and tins are good for storing your tarot decks, and of course, nobody's going to know what your, what that is. Humidifiers. Humidifiers are also good. Put your essential oils in it. I think I had talked about it in another video. If you can't burn your candles, you can always use a humidifier. It covers your air and your water element if you're in that type of situation. And I don't have it with me, but you can buy candle warmers. Now, this is one that I bought. It's on my La Santísima Muerte. I cannot talk today. La Santísima Muerte altar, because it's an owl. Now, they do sell the ones that plug up. And if you have your scented candle, you can take the Meltums, and if you have a really thick piece of glass, they're normally flat. You used to take them and keep your coffee warm with it, but you can simply just go and buy your candle and set it on the Meltum. That way you're not burning the candle, or your melty thing. That way you're not burning the candle, but you still have the scent. I got this one candle for Element. Of course, you can get candles at Goodwill too. This one for the 4 elements. So, little things like that. Of course, no one's going to know. Now, here's a big thing. Jewelry boxes. Jewelry boxes are really good to, right now I have, I don't think you can see, but I'm going to try to tip it. So, I was getting sick and tired because I had my pendulums in an incense coffin that I got at Five Below. I got too many, and I got tired of them hanging up, getting tangled up. So now I have a better way to organize it. Now I keep my magic knife, my magical that I use for magical purposes, in one. And then this is another thing that you can get at Goodwill. If you cannot, if you can use this as a stencil, of course, it's going to be stuck. Okay, well, it's stuck, so, but you can use these cookie cutters as sort of a, alright. Believe it or not, I was prepared today. Get these, and you can basically trace on the outside or inside, depending on what you need. Of course, this is the little thing that goes to it. And if you can't draw, this is really good. You can use these for, I forgot, Play-Doh. Play-Doh's another thing that you can get at Dollar Tree to use for your Pop-Its. And you can just pretty much go to town, do as you will with that. But if you fabric, as I had said, you can go and you can get scarves and sheets from Goodwill also. Sheets would be good for, well, of course, your Pop-Its. You can cut them to fit your altar, so you could use those for really good altar cloths. That's what this is back here. Now, if you can't find the color or the pattern that you want and you just see white, you can go to Walmart and get you some Rit dye and make the colors that you want. You can also take the sheets and the scarves again to use for, your claromancy, your tarot cards, whatever spells you need that require a bag. Okay, so here's the other thing. Now, the Dollar Tree does sell the 3-ring binders, but I'm going to get fabric, either from Walmart, Goodwill, and this is going to be one of my books of shadows. So these family albums that you see at Goodwill all the time, those are great for that. Now you can get they're what I call the old school warmers, where you basically take like your potpourri. They are still in there all the time. So you can take that, you can put the herbs or whatever in it that you need. You can also do the wax meltums. And of course, nobody's going to know what it is you're doing. Tins. Tins are good for storing your tarot cards so that no one knows what the heck it is, as well as like the small purses that they sell. Yarn, you can also get yarn from the Goodwill. And the other thing that I forgot, needle and thread. You can get them at either store. Needle and thread, of course, if you can't get to Walmart, they do have the needle and thread kits. Some Goodwills do have them in the push pins, but those are good for making your dolls if you can sew. Another thing is, like, if you don't want to go and spend $4 or $5 on needle and thread, because needle and thread, another thing needle and thread is good for is shut the fuck up spells. I'm probably going to be doing a video on that here pretty soon, because I'm really going to need to. So, these, you can put sand in these, and then as a base, and then you would take, and it's going to hold your birthday candle up straight. Of course, you can use these according to whatever spell you need, and using your color sand. Now that I've blot on for a mile a minute. Another thing that you can use for your altars and things are scarves. Also, you can use those for any kind of bags or whatever that you need to make. And I think, oh, yes, and playing cards. You can get playing cards at either store, like the deck of cards. Those are good for cardomancy. You can also get like children's books or anything like that you can find, and you can basically make your own oracle deck. The doll babies that are cloth, that the body is cloth, but the hands and the head are plastic. I've seen where people have used those as their puppets, what some people would call their voodoo dolls. And I pretty much think that I rambled on long enough, and I've pretty much covered everything, but I do plan on doing an update and showing you what some things have looked like that they're done. So I'll probably let you in later on that. So thanks a lot, guys, for listening to me ramble on like a complete and total maniac, because I just said screw the notes. But I hope that was everything that I thought about covering. When I do the update video, I'll probably include some more stuff. Yeah. If you are in need of a magical knife, and I think I've shown this in my videos before, but you can go to the silverware section, and you can get a knife, and I just bound mine with twine that I got from the dollar store, and, ooh, okay. Oh, yeah, see, you never know. See, I just found that in the jewelry box part of this, and, oh, I know exactly what I can do with this. So, see, that's the other thing. Things like this, you never know. But I had shown it in a video before. Because I go to sensors. This was the other thing. Sensors for burning your incense. You put flour or some sand for your cold discs. Now, this one's a grubby. I've had it for years. The handle broke off, but it's raised, so I don't have to worry about it burning or anything like that. So sensors, and I've shown you guys my cauldron before. Of course, I did smoke cleansing last night, so I put my sensor in my cauldron. But these, as well as if you have to get, you know, you can't always find these. My mother bought this one for me last year. But cake pans, I still have a cauldron that I made out of a cake pan, and I still use that. So it's all about looking at things from witchy eyes, and of course, you can use these as stands to raise things up. That way, you know, you're not setting anything on fire. So, anyway, yeah, that was it. So, thanks a lot, guys. Peace, love, and light. Please like and subscribe, and blessed be.